to fans that he does mean business.
OK, thanks very much, Johnny. Motorists using the A12 north of Chelmsford faced severe congestion this evening after a lorry carrying a crane hit a bridge over the carriageway. The accident happened this afternoon at junction 20A for Hatfield-Peveril on the southbound carriageway. Police say there is structural damage to the bridge, which engineers are currently examining. The road's likely to reopen in an hour. Until then, motorists are being advised to stay clear of the whole area.
A man from Southend has been remanded in custody accused of murdering an 8-week-old baby. 24-year-old Tom Smith is accused of killing Chantel Pilkington. The baby was initially taken to Southend Hospital last August with head injuries, but was transferred to Great Ormond Street Hospital, where she later died. It's believed Smith is Chantel's father. Well, stay with us here on ITV Anglia. Still so much more. You won't want to miss this.
More news now, and they're an iconic symbol in one part of Essex, but it appears that several swans there have recently come under attack.
8 of them have been found with their necks broken at Mistley near Colchester, and one cygnet has been decapitated. Many believe it's part of an ongoing feud over their growing numbers. Victoria Webb has the report.
The swans in this picturesque village of Mistley have been here for decades. But back in the days when they'd eat the barley brought to the maltings, they were mostly seen in the river. Now they're taking over the pavement, even bringing traffic to a standstill.
Mistley wouldn't be the same without the swans, but there's a real divide now between the people who like having them here and those who say that they're a nuisance, that they're being overfed and creating a mess along the walls.
8 swans have recently been found with broken necks. Mistley Parish Councillor Angela Kilmartin says she believes it wasn't the result of an accident. Instead, it was carried out by someone who's had enough of the situation.
They are messing up the highways, the pathways, prams, wheelchairs can't get through. The police are beside themselves. The swans themselves are being murdered. We've had at least 8 deaths from vandalism.
The swans are looked after by a local organisation and are fed in this area. Their opponents say it's become an unnatural feeding site that's ruining the grass. But there are plenty who believe it's necessary to maintain the flock.
Well, I'd say 99% I think the world of the swans. You know, there are a few objectors, but they're mostly newcomers.
What we really need is a proper intervention by the local authority, the parish council, to give proper feeding, preferably offshore, away from the bank area.
Meetings have been arranged to look into the matter. Although there's strong feelings on both sides of the argument, it's hoped something can be done so the swans and the people of Mistley can live happily together. Victoria Webb, Anglia News.
Tesco has been ordered to pay more than £70,000 in fines and costs after its store in Martlesham in Suffolk was infested with rodents. The company was found guilty of 8 charges relating to poor cleansing and inadequate procedures. Environmental health inspectors found a catalogue of problems in 2007, including evidence of mouse droppings in the hot deli.
Plans for new power lines around King's Lynn have been unveiled by the National Grid. The company has proposed 3 different corridors to carry electricity from a new power station to the south of King's Lynn to the main transmission system. Depending on the route chosen, the line will run for between 1.2 and 3 miles.
Now, if you're familiar with the Broads, you probably know the Wherry Albion. Every summer she charters hundreds of passengers, but for the last 10 winters she's been undergoing extensive repairs.
Now they've come to an end, and the charity which saved and maintains the famous ship says she's in the best shape ever. Laura Burns has more.
She's a grand old lady of the Norfolk Broads, 112 years old and taking some time out from the water after a £200,000 facelift. But now 10 winters of work are finally winding up. And soon the iconic Albion will be back where she belongs.
I've always worked on the Broads and on hire fleets and everything. And when people have come back off holiday, they've said, oh, we saw a lovely red and white big sail, big black sail. That's what keeps me going on it. This winter has been the parts that hold the mast up in the air, which is fairly important.
She made her maiden voyage in 1898, originally sailed by a man and a boy delivering coal and crops to Broad's villages. As road transport improved, many trading wherries became redundant. But in 1949, Albion was saved by a group of enthusiasts. But she sank several times and proved very expensive. So in 1961, it was decided she would never carry dirty cargo again. And to this day, Albion carries hundreds of passengers every season. Now, you can't see it today because the mast is still off, but one of the most distinctive features of the Albion is the colour of her sail. Back in the days when the wherries used to trade, crews would use fish oil to protect the sail from the bad weather. But this proved a tasty meal for rats, so the solution was to mix the oil with coal dust, which turned the cotton black. Maynard's team have had a lot of help from Trust volunteers.
She's, an absolute icon on the Broads. One of the things that visitors, whether they're on the river or whether they're in the marshes, can see for miles. The black sail, the mast, the vane on top, moving through the reeds. Alongside the mills, the trading wherries are the boats.
A large part of living history, with a long future ahead of her. Laura Burns, Anglia News, Ludham in Norfolk.
In football, there's about a third of the season left, so we are approaching the sharp end of the campaign going into tonight's games. Championship survival is still the primary aim for Ipswich. They visit Scunthorpe knowing a win will lift them 6 points clear of the drop zone. But manager Roy Keane is warning his players to focus on the task in hand.
But we've had good victories before. What we need to do now is build on that. And another big game for us Tuesday night. 4 away games on the trot is a big ask. But hopefully the players will be ready.
Darragh Russell will miss Norwich's game with Southend after the FA turned down his appeal against a red card against Southampton on Saturday. He'll serve a 3-match ban. Southend's position at the opposite end of League One is perilous, though. They're just a point clear of trouble without a win in 2010. So what sort of contest is Norwich boss Paul Lambert expecting tonight, then?
They're fighting for their lives, that's for sure. And we know we have to play well to win. We had a hard game there a few months ago, and this will be no different, but we'll be ready for it. And I said we'll hurt from Saturday, but we will bounce back.
Elsewhere, Colchester's pitch continues to cause them problems. The U's home game with Brentford has been postponed after heavy rain left the surface unplayable.
Moving to warmer climes now, Essex cricketer Alistair Cook has made a winning start as captain of England. Cook is leading the squad on their tour of Bangladesh today while his boss takes a bit of a rest. The tourists beat a Bangladesh board 11 by 112 runs in a one-day game. Cook also scored 56 in England's innings there.